Donald Trump is hoping to get his trial postponed again. Fraud trial starts on Monday. This is Saturday as I record this video. And he's hoping to get it delayed or pushed, postponed, or canceled or something. And it's probably not going to happen. In fact, the judge says it's not going to happen, so be ready to go to trial on Monday. And this is one that Trump will be there sitting for his fraud case, for, trying to see if he's going to actually get to keep his buildings and his money. We shall see how it plays out. What is interesting about this is he's still doing what he can to campaign and be public and do whatever he can to speak out. So anytime he's in court, he's using that as a campaign stop. But an actual campaign stop last week turned into a bit of a head-scratching phenomenon. Donald Trump recently visited Chick-fil-A in Atlanta. It's situated near a bunch of historically black colleges. So there's a spot in Atlanta that's basically Black College Life U, where they're all sort of there together because it's a good place for them to be and them hang out and to just gather together as a spot. So what it made this event notable, other than the fact that he showed up at Chick-fil-A and just bought a bunch of chicken, he may or may not have paid for it, is that there are plenty of black supporters there for him to see and him for to talk to and to express their support for Trump publicly, even getting hugs in the process and taking lots of pictures. That whole scene may have been more set than we thought it was. That may have been a total plant, if you will. But that doesn't really mark the actual point. There's really nothing inherently bad with more support from people of color in general for Donald Trump, except for the fact that Donald Trump is a grifter and a scumbag and a kind of bad person, words I've said. But there really isn't an issue because if we were in a post-racial kind of world, there'd be more evenness in how things are covered. I am a black person who tends to vote Republican. I lean about 60% towards the right, so I'm right of center for voting things. I'm currently not exactly down with the Republican Party because of Trump, if you will, but I do lean towards conservative values, conservative sort of things, with, my own sort of liberal things on the other side. So it doesn't hurt my feelings when people show up as the black Republicans, the black conservatives. They're in their suits, they're in their ties, they're saying what's going on. But it does sort of hurt when they're having to boost up this guy, that guy, Donald Trump. The lady who embraced Trump at the Chick-fil-A is doing the rounds of TV and radio and interviews, saying why she's doing it. And she's got good reasons to support the other candidate. I'm not talking about the other candidate who has no chance, but the other candidate, that is Joe Biden. I'm not a fan of Joe Biden either. I voted for him last time by literally holding my nose and pulling the trigger. But nothing has been done for any sort of grandness. Nothing been done that's anything spectacular. He's been a okay, middling well president, and that's about it. Donald Trump was a disaster fire and will be again if voted in again, but that's beside the point. There's no jazz, there's no excitement, there's no reason to vote for Joe Biden except for he's not Donald Trump. And if that's your only issue, then any issue that Donald Trump can say he'll fix is worth thinking about. The economy was better during Donald Trump. Well, maybe. He was also pumping a lot of money towards companies with COVID dollars and dealing with COVID itself. There wasn't all the push to get all these shots when you had it going on. Well, that's because as he was moving out of office, the vaccine was created and we're still going through the downfall, the down end of COVID. So he'd have to deal with the aftermath, even though he did, of course, was behind creating the shot, and then had to get people, let people say, I don't want to get the shot because, the government's behind it. He's the government that was behind it. Let's focus a moment on this thing here and this appearance here in Georgia and Atlanta. There should be more people out there speaking for Donald Trump, speaking for Republicans, speaking for conservatives, because there should be more a fair vision going on. But it should be less about Donald Trump saying black guys love me because I've been indicted, or check out these sneakers because guys like sneakers, or my African American, or check out what I'll do for you guys, things like that. Republicans are supposed to be the party of Lincoln. Donald Trump's not Lincoln. And unfortunately, the people who are speaking out for Donald Trump, people of color, because we have a lot more people who are Hispanic folks who are now speaking out because they are against Biden and his immigration policies, because immigration. The people of color who are speaking towards this man, and this is my personal part opinion, are speaking towards a man who is not worth the effort. The Republican Party is not the party that it was 4 years ago, 6 years ago, 8 years ago, when it was something to look at as an actual alternative, even if they look at some of the things that are being done that are not exactly towards a nice end of being a person. Nothing Trump is standing for is good, and nothing is grand, and nothing is just. So why is this video being created? There is more starch support for Donald Trump as there is less support for Joe Biden. People don't like the way things look. Things cost too much. Nothing looks great. There are wars going on we didn't have to deal with. One of those wars was started during the other guy's tenure, and, be honest, mostly because of him and allowing the Russians to kind of run roughshod on stuff. The other one, Trump said he could have solved in 48 hours. It's a issue of biblical times, and maybe Trump had issues of getting that set up as he backed Benjamin Netanyahu to get in charge when this happened, and he essentially was not paying attention when an attack was being basically telegraphed his way. There should be more people speaking up for Republicans and speaking up for Donald Trump, because it should be more even keel. Except Donald Trump's not worth speaking up for. Thank you for listening to this video, watching this video, joining us for this ride. Our website is thisistheconversationproject.com. Stop by there to find out more details about what we do for the Conversation Project. Follow us on our feeds. Those are our pages on Twitter/X and Facebook. Facebook.com/thisistheconversationproject and Twitter.com/th_conversation. X.com as well, of course. And that way you can engage in the news stories we post every 50 minutes, so we have topics to talk about in our flagship show called Things You Might Have Heard. It comes out to you every Monday through Friday morning, 5 a.m. Central Time. We record it live with the news headlines from the prior day. Consider becoming a partner. Consider checking out our sponsors. And make sure you stay hydrated and limber and on task for grand things you need to do. Life is not a sprint. It is very much a marathon, so make sure you are in good enough shape to make it towards the end. Love you. Mean it. Thank you for being a part of this. We'll see you in another video.